Welcome back to Beards and Brews. Hey, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and follow no matter where you're listening. Not only does it help us out, but you'll know exactly when we have another one brewing. Fellas, this week it's going to be The Wizard, and you guys have the prime opportunity to try to convince me that this movie's real.
It is real. It is a 1 hour and 40-minute commercial for the original Nintendo Entertainment System.
I want to believe you, but I feel like this movie tried really hard not to be that movie, and then it just clapped in on its own corporate weight.
I think it would have been better off if it had just leaned into that a little bit more. Instead, we get like an hour of nothing having to do with Nintendo, and then another 10 minutes at the end of nothing having to do with Nintendo, and then there's like some stuff in there that has to do with Nintendo in the middle.
And those are the best parts. Anything with the Nintendo branding, the Power Glove, the fucking Ninja Gaiden, them in the arcades. I was like, hell yeah, let me watch these kids have fun. And then it was like watching a couple with an autistic child trying to cross the country to get him medical help. And I was like, this is fucking ridiculous.
But isn't it kind of odd, though? Like, this movie is so ashamed to be, like, a Nintendo commercial. But then, like, at the end, it just cannot fucking help itself from being a Nintendo commercial. It's just like, fuck yeah, kids, buy fucking Mario 3.
Was this the debut of Super Mario Bros. 3? This was 1989. Had people even seen this before this?
No. Actually, the movie came out before the game did.
Think about that. You get to watch that movie and see some shit pre-internet that isn't existing yet, but you get to look forward to. Holy shit, Mario 3. And being a person growing up in that era, Mario 3 was fucking pretty sweet.
Man, like, I miss that little bit. You know, I'm a 90s baby, but man, this movie makes me nostalgic. This movie's ass. Like, you can't convince me otherwise. But I just know the feeling of being a kid and having this kind of targeted movie pointed at me. It's just like, I'm going to make you excited. And I'm just like, yeah, movie, I'm excited.
Yeah. If they, like you said, Chandler, if they would have just fucking went head over heels in that direction. So there's some Mack trucks in the movie. They come in later, but whatever. If they would all been like Toys R Us and shit like that, Mack trucks, more product placement, like just get in there. Let us know that this is aimed at the child and that we're here for a good time. This was not a feel-good movie. This was not a good time. This is almost a super serial movie starring children in ridiculous situations, almost like an Al Bundy fucking parody.
Yeah, they missed such an opportunity to just throw so much Pepsi and Reebok and whatever else.
Pizza Hut.
Yeah, absolutely. They could have leaned into that hard, but instead they leaned into like, where are these kids' families? Like, where are their parents? Where's the girl's parents at all? She's just roaming around Nevada? What's going on here?
Those are very, very intelligent questions, but what the movie does is completely fucking ignore logic. It doesn't matter. Like, they need to get to California, and they do. Actually, this is probably the worst case of movie has to movie or else.
Dude, you are not kidding.
Is this the exact same movie as Greenland, where like we know they're getting to where they're going because that's the whole point, but just getting there takes 3/4 of the movie?
No. There's a slight difference. Like in Greenland, even though it was super whatever, the fun was seeing what hijinks everybody gets into, even though it's total horseshit. In this movie, things happen, but it would come off the same way if that scene just wasn't even there. They could have just appeared in California and the movie would have been exactly the same.
It would have been better for it, Eric, if they would have just been like, little Jimmy, Rain Man, can you play Ninja Gaiden? I can play Ninja Gaiden.
Right.
Oh, no.
You know, and then they just appear there.
Let's set this up. This movie stars Fred Savage, who my entire life I was led to believe was the Wizard. It turns out he is not. His little brother, played by, who's the guy?
The itty-bitty kid from Malcolm in the Middle? I don't know.
Yeah, the sick one.
Yeah. His little half-brother, played by Luke Edwards, Jimmy, he's the Wizard. He has, 3 total lines through the whole movie. He is supposedly mentally handicapped in some capacity.
I guess it was totally before the whole discovery of autism or whatever, because I feel like the movie was dancing around a term it didn't know, and I was secondhand embarrassed by it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy that with medical science as advanced as we have now, it's really crazy to look back at that moment and see this child clearly displaying and describing clear symptoms of autism. And they're like, he's got a mental handicap and should be in an asylum because he likes to stack popcorn buckets and play with Legos.
Lego. He needs to be locked up.
Oh shit. Well, his stepdad has had enough. He sees him stacking those popcorn things. He's like, God damn it! Send that kid to the clink.
Yeah, like they have games like that now, like the stack cut game. There's like a world champion that stacks them so fast it's ridiculous. Like this kid could be a wizard at that. But instead, he's a wizard at running away.
He's always just trying to get to California. He lives in Utah, so it's not that big of a journey, but it's, he's a couple states away, like 1,000 miles probably.
Yeah, but that's what the movie opens up with. Like, no context, just an open road, middle of fucking nowhere, and then you see the small kid from Malcolm in the Middle just kind of like roaming the countryside.
They've got like a plane coming after him.
You're right.
They're tracking this guy down by drone.
It's so extra and unnecessary. I don't know if it's played for laughs, but the plane is flying so low to the ground. And like, there's the kid, we found him.
We found the kid. Which direction's he going? Oh, north by northwest.
All right. We're talking about this fucking kid and his running away. Can someone give me the answer? Why does this movie open with a 3.5-minute song where the entirety of it is this child walking over the horizon like some old West cowboy?
I don't know. It looked like the original teaser to Back to the Future. It was fucking weird.
I wrote down, this song sounds like a U2 cover band from Bloomington, Indiana.
To me, it was like a little bit later. There's a literal use of the song Jitterbug, but I'm pretty sure it's being played in verse. So you just get like, it's just noises, but that classic Jitterbug. Doop, doop.
Jitterbug.
Yes.
Yeah, the choice of musical numbers in this movie is questionable.
I would just want to give it serviceable. In fact, everything this movie does or chooses to do, serviceable. This movie has things a movie would have in it.
Actors and music and a script.
There's a genuinely good kids movie here, but there's also a movie about this child trying to overcome his autism to be able to finally lay his sister's memory to rest in the last place he remembers being happy with her.
Oh, yeah.
And these are not two stories that need to go together.
They totally couldn't, and I think you're absolutely right. There is a little bit of heart in this movie, and it could still be the Nintendo commercial it wants to be, but man, now that you mention that, it totally feels like they were just like, move it, we have 3 days to make this fucking thing, move it, and this is what happened.
Gotta shoehorn a spot in here so people can cry.
Oh, nice. This plot is basically just Jimmy keeps trying to go to California. He's going to get sent to the asylum. Fred Savage, the brother, is like, you guys don't care, to his angry older brother, who we failed to mention is in this film, Christian fucking Slater.
He plays like an older brother, and he's the biggest star in this movie, and he is not in it very much.
He's just like, hi, I'm doing this so I can have something to do before I do Heather's paycheck. What's up?
His whole role in this movie, like every time you see him, is the same thing. Come on, Dad. It's okay. Fred Savage's character's awesome. Play Nintendo with me.
You just went Macho Man. Play Nintendo with me. Ooh, yeah.
What I tell you, Dad? If you don't come over here, put in the ninja gating, and get a score of at least 62,000, as high as the mountain, so help me God, Dad, I'll break you in half.
Well, that's the whole thing. It's about being the cream of the crop. You gotta rise to the top of the leaderboard, which is why the kids have to go to California. And then you have, what was like the lawyer of the stepdad or whatever, chasing everybody?
Him Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, alright, fine. Dog the Bounty Hunter. And then you also have the dad and Christian Slater just being fucking Team Brokeback. And just basically just being an entirely different movie super cut into this one for whatever reason.
Yes, there's like 3 different shorts going on in this film. And they're just smashed together.
We briefly talked about it before the cast, but can we just have a little conversation about the family tree setup in this movie? Because there's there's a dad and a brother. We know for sure that the dad and the brother are related to the Fred Savage character, but he's a half-brother to Jimmy. So I thought it was his mom that had died. You're saying it's his sister that died?
Correct. His twin sister, they discuss it. He's going to lay his sister's memory to rest at the last place he recalls being happy with her.
Well, where in the hell is this kid's mother?
Dude, parents don't exist. This universe is ran by children. This movie universe, everything is set up for the advancement of children, and the worst thing you have to worry about while hitchhiking cross-country is being robbed of $12.
That might be like a running gag in this movie, because I feel like these kids get robbed a lot.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the one thing that sets them back, because the movie's got a movie so hard. Like, there's no way they're not getting to California. So the movie's thinking like, they have to have some sort of hurdles before they get there, right?
You don't want anything too dangerous or scandalous than
Yes.
getting robbed. So what can we do? Have you tried robbing them again?
Dude, their only other, like, hazard to anybody in the movie is that, like, the girl punched Fred Savage in the face so hard his mask turned sideways. That's it.
Because she's the real savage on set.
Ooh. Got him.
All right, yeah, so we've mentioned every other starring leading character in this. The girl that is sort of the catalyst for getting this whole journey going is played by none other than Jenny Lewis. I think I'd remember hearing that she was in this, but then I forgot, and then her name popped up, and I was like, shit. Jenny Lewis is in this. Jenny Lewis of Rilo Kiley fame, if y'all don't know.
We didn't know, but now we do.
Go check them out. They're pretty good.
But you know what's not pretty good? Any dialogue in this movie. These are just fucking words chained together.
They truly are. There are no memorable lines in the entirety of this film. There are a few sight gags that do hit their mark, like the vehicular assault performed by the father on the bounty hunter, who is also looking for the same child he is. So instead of working together and offering to still pay the man, he's like, nope, I'll literally run you off the fucking road and kill you.
What's better than finding the kid and still having to pay this guy? Finding the kid and not having to pay him.
I feel like it was a missed opportunity, especially with the attempted vehicular manslaughter, to shoe in another video game reference. Something about Christian Slater being like, Dad, let's go play Nintendo. And he's like, no, let me show you how I play Tron and murder that man.
Just a fucking right turn. What I've got here today, I appreciate that, is from Deschutes Brewing Company out of Bend, Oregon. This is Haze Tron, an Imperial Hazy IPA, 8.0% alcohol by volume.
See, I don't even think about Tron now. I just think about fucking like Megatron or some shit. Haze Tron. Wop, 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 wop. Turns into a pitcher of fucking fruity beer.
And that shows the difference
That's
between
awesome.
your nerdy interests and my nerdy interests, because to me, Tron is a Magic the Gathering deck.
I knew it. I was like, man, he's going to say magic.
Yep. See, there's a modern deck where I don't need to explain it. Never mind.
Ah, man, I'm curious and not curious at the same time.
All right, so there's a modern deck. All right, so there's this land cycle. There's this land cycle that is, it's like Urza's power plant, Urza's mine, and Urza's castle or something like that. It doesn't matter. Each one of them taps for one colorless mana, but if you happen to have all three on the battlefield at once, then they tap for a total of 7 mana. So you're assembling Megatron.
Oh, nice.
That's what.
Oh my god. Here we are, hitching a ride in the hostess truck to then get out at a bus station to start becoming arcade hustlers.
And once more, it's incredibly odd. This movie just has like a weird aura about it, because clearly these kids have no adult supervision, middle of nowhere, and they have all their belongings strapped to them with their backpack. They go for a bus ticket, and not once does the guy be like, hey, yo, where's your pa? Where's your ma? He's just like, you ain't got the cash. Get the fuck out of my shop.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of adults in this movie that just don't take that extra step.
The adult's role in this film is 100% to completely accommodate the children. No matter what the children want, the children get. Even the bad parents in this movie are still beyond accommodating.
And they're also very good at just being independent already. Like, they're making money on the side multiple times.
Yeah, they
Like,
got that side hustle.
yeah, never at once were they like, never at any time were they like homeless.
No, they fucking every time they had to sleep, they were in like a hotel or that fucking trailer from Tremors. They had a setup.
Well, I take it back. They'd spent one night outside in like a cave.
They had that cave, but
When? Right in the beginning?
yeah, it was like their first or second night.
Yeah, you know.
Oh,
it's
they were
cold and
learning the
wolves are
rules of the
after me.
road.
They hadn't learned the rules of the road yet. That's how this whole path gets going. Old Jenny Lewis's character corners them and is like, "Hey, what are you all doing? My name's Haley. If you don't tell me, I'm going to scream." You all mentioned that there are no memorable lines. Here's a memorable line from me. Fred Savage comes back and says, well, could you scream quietly?
Yeah, RD had enough for her shit. Listen, we got our own bones to pick with life.
Right.
Oh, I really enjoy that her character is 100% Fancy from Reba McEntire's song, Fancy. This is her one chance, and by God, she ain't gonna let you down.
Man,
She's making it happen. She's
The
using the rules of the road, her words, not mine, using the rules of the road to get truckers to do what needs to happen. I'm not going to expand upon that anymore.
look, she's a survivor, okay? She knows what to do.
Yeah, that's an awkward segue to whatever we're going to talk about next, but yeah, that's what's going on here.
It's just the way the movie is. It's just so clueless, so inept, but there's like a charm to it. Like, all these kids, especially the girl, have these lines written for an adult. Like, everything that happens to them, no matter how freakish or random, it's just blasé. It's like, whatever, I know how to take care of this situation. Man, see?
Yeah, it's how are we going to get there? We don't have enough for a bus ticket. I can show you how to hitchhike. Mama taught me, do. And then that's where they get their first real conflict of the robber. And these are two men who have taken 3 children into the middle of fucking nowhere to rob them.
Wait, which robber are you talking about? You need to be more specific here.
Yeah, there's multiple moments of assault and robbery against these kids. It's kind of odd. This one in particular is like when they're in the back of that truck, and they were really stupid flashing their $12 in the back of it, and so they have to slam the brakes, drive off the side of the road, hop in the back with the kids, and manhandle them until they release the cash.
I was shocked that these 2 men did that to the children for $12, and that was the end of it.
Yeah, and that was it. It's never brought up again. The kids are never like... I feel that would be like super jarring. That would be a core memory after a while, but they're just like dusting each other off. Whew, that could have been worse, huh?
Nintendo games are so fucking fun that you will get robbed multiple times and still go to compete so you can play Nintendo games.
Man, this shit. It's so bad.
So bad. You know what else is so bad? The Power Glove.
Ooh.
No!
Man.
It's so good!
The next stop is when they get to this town and fucking Johnny Be Good at Games is there. And he whips out the Power Glove. There's something so fucking like late 80s, early 90s liminal like vibe from this entire thing. And he's fucking playing, was it Ridge Racer or whatever?
I don't know the name of that game. I've played so much Nintendo in my life, I don't know that game.
But this entire moment is so perfect in its own self. Like, the rest of the movie is disposable. But this moment right here, I just know there's an entire generation which is like, well, as soon as I step out of this theater, I'm going to tell Ma and Pa to get me one of those fucking things.
Yes.
I am sure that.
Yes. And that's the same thing Marvel just got done doing with old Thanos. All right, that was this young man's fucking gauntlet, and he put that shit on, pointed his fist at Ridge Racer, made the Crocodile Dundee outstretched thumb and pinky, went wah, 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 and the high score just started squirting on him.
Just squirting. I'll tell you, like, I didn't know, like, I knew of this movie, but the one real thing I knew about this movie was this scene right here. And I knew about this scene thanks to Horse the Band. If you haven't heard of them, check them out as well. But they sample, like, this scene, you know, so I knew this, like, line for line. And I know, in reality, the Power Glove fucking sucked. It was a terrible product. But in this movie, it doesn't suck. In this movie, it's the coolest thing on the planet.
And not only that, the kid delivers this entire scene with such stone cold conviction. For whatever reason, for like a brief 4 minutes in all of cinema, he could have grasped like an Oscar nomination, I feel. It's just so fucking legitimate.
Have you ever been a kid? Have you ever wanted to do something fun? Have you ever had that one thing that you've always desired? Well, now you finally got it. Nintendo Power Glove.
Damn. It just sends chilly willies down your spine.
Yes.
Did you ever want the Power Glove, but your parents were too poor to buy you one? Well, you can watch a kid play with the Power Glove for 4 minutes in this movie.
You know, you're probably not wrong. Like, what? Movies came out back then, they're like $50, and the Power Glove was probably a hot $400 for whatever reason.
Got to make that Nintendo money. But I'll tell you, this kid, the best gamer in the world, or so he's supposed to be, Lucas, when he stepped on the screen, for a split second, I was like, is that Hobo Johnson? And then I realized Hobo Johnson wasn't born when this movie was made, so this is probably Hobo Johnson's father.
Motherfucker looked like a blonde Rufio.
Something going on. He's like, you know, a tiny, inexperienced Patrick Swayze. You know, that's what he's got going.
Oh shit. Okay, here's something though. This kid, he's, you know, Johnny Be Good at Games, and he's at the finale with young Wiz Jimmy. He does not use the Power Glove, and that was the deciding factor in my mind.
Would the Power Glove have even been legal, you know? I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it's never really brought up again. It's just like, hey, we gotta shill this. Now let's forget it.
You know what we don't have enough in this movie? Merchandising!
Yes!
Oh, Nintendo the Flamethrower.
Kids are gonna love it.
Think about it. This could have been amazingly fun. It's not that it's awful. There are moments in this movie where, again, when it's just focused on the kid-centric shit, it's wonderful, actually. But then suddenly you're dealing with everything else that muddles it down. There's a scene at the end where they have this big door, and when that motherfucker opens during the tournament, it's some of the coolest shit, even as an adult. I went, man, I would have loved to have been a kid as an extra on that set just to see that fucking thing keep opening and closing.
See, you know, being older now, I'm like, man, this shit sucks. If I had to go to the theater with my kid to see this, I'd be miserable. But I remember, like, if I were the kid instead, I would be losing my damn mind.
One thing that I think this movie does do well, we talked about it not leaning into the marketing, but it has Christian Slater, the older brother, bring the Nintendo with them while they're on this road trip. So every time they're in a hotel or at a mechanic or anywhere they stop, one of them is playing that Nintendo. So they show it's not just for kids, it's for teenagers. Then the dad gets into it. It's for adults too. They got something here.
Not only is it for everybody, it's so fucking good that whenever you're out hunting your kid, you get up in the morning and you play a good 60 minutes of Mario 3 before you fucking head out to look for him.
Open it up at the mechanic's office. He's like, hold on, I'm almost to level 13. I've got the scroll weapon.
The dude straight up hijacked a random dude's TV. Like, that shit was just there. He just plugged in his shit and he's just like, hey, Dad, calm down. The kid's alright, I'm sure. Let me get right back to the Marios. Meanwhile,
Dog the Bounty Hunter is out there slicing tires, and we mentioned that he had him towed at some point. He is causing a lot of damage.
Man, this B plot is so strange. I can almost not accept it because, of course, you know, you have that like extension of the stepdad being a dick. You have this guy chasing the kids, but he has several run-ins with the dad where the dad is extremely violent towards him, and then was just like, well, that was bonkers. And then moving on.
If that's what's hiding inside of not John Ritter, what is he doing to these kids?
Beau Bridges.
I definitely had to look it up to see if that was maybe somehow related to John Ritter, because he looks like Wish brand John Ritter.
Oh, he's John Shitter.
Oh, I didn't say that, but well. So, next thing, they've made it through the Nevada desert. They've gone from Utah to Nevada. They're going to Reno, which is where Jenny Lewis is from. They're going to go to a casino and make some money so they can make their way further down to LA, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, with bikers.
But they get down there to the casino, and she meets up with her mom's friend Spanky, who
Lord.
You can't make this up. You can't make this up.
Oh man,
Somebody made this up.
nobody gave a shit about this movie. They're like, man, this has to be a movie that's movie. Because, oh man, so they got this guy who knows the girl's mom because of trucker rules, winky face. And I guess the movie is trying to tell us that she's also a wizard at something, but instead of being good at video games, she's exceptional at gambling, to the point where she's screaming stuff at this guy about how to play craps, and he's just nailing every single round. And everybody around is just like, yeah, this is fine.
Yeah, that's cool. That's normal in Reno. It's the biggest little town in the world.
Oh, yeah, hey, you know what? Nobody's paying attention. Well, you know why? They're too busy new boot goofing.
I'd like you to know I have the phrase new boot goofing written down in my notes.
They got to do something, right? Because you can clearly tell, like, this movie is like, we need money to make said movie. If we film in Reno and ask them for money, we'll just make this one big glory shot like it's some kind of fucking ad for Reno, Nevada.
They wouldn't let us film in Las Vegas, so we had to settle for the next best thing.
Just one town over. Come to Reno. We're kind of like Vegas.
Except a little trashier.
Yeah, yeah.
They do have a scene in a casino that's not like an adult gambling casino. It's a casino, but it's just an arcade.
Yes.
That's where he trains up, baby. That's where he's knocking out all of them. Metroid, Mega Man, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, little RC Pro AM.
Dude, Fred Savage was walking around like a fucking boss. And he's 12 damn years old.
Buying licorice, telling the girls to keep the change.
Yeah, basically just like slapping them on the ass while they're walking around doing their services. And the missiles are just like, what the hell? When do you turn into such a fucking dick? I was like, honey, the waitress is his age too. What the fuck is this whole place?
What?
Oh no. My thought was like it was some kind of like underage gambling facility.
I mean, is it not? I mean, you've got the whole thing there. By the way, I saw Narcs in there, a game I haven't thought about in 30 years. That's Bionic Commando. All kinds of cool shit.
You know where you can play all these games? Your fucking Nintendo.
All of them. Nintendo.
Meanwhile, old Jenny Lewis is up there in the room calling the Nintendo helpline to get all the tips and tricks. Yeah.
I fucking loved whenever they start calling the goddamn hotline. All right? Because it just made me think of those old WCW commercials, you know. Oh, call whatever during Monday Nitro, and you can talk to the Macho Man. And he's sitting there rocking back and forth in the chair. You know he ain't on the phone. It's just some dude doing like I was earlier, like, hey, little Jimmy, thanks for calling the Macho Man. You know? And the kid's like, hey, 99 in a minute.
And then you get to talk to your buddies. Wow, you really talked to Macho Man? Yeah, or at least a really fucking angry Jack Nicholson.
You call in to talk to Miss Elizabeth, and it's really just like Clyde from accounting.
Oh.
The sad part is it's really Miss Elizabeth and no one believes it.
Well, speaking of putting your hands on Miss Elizabeth, the dog, the bounty hunter, makes his way to this casino, arcade, whatever you want to call it, and gets his hands on little Mr. Jimmy.
Oh, no.
I should have rephrased that.
No, I mean, it's absolutely right. He yoinks up the kid, and the big solution to this entire scene is for the little girl to scream, "He touched my breast." Fellas, my jaw hit the fucking floor.
I was alone in my living room, and I was looking around like, should I react to this? What should I feel right now? This is weird.
I fucking lost it. I lost it, dude. I started rolling immediately at the audacity that the movie had to do that. Like, I was like, fuck it, man. Let's go all in.
He gets yoinked up again. She calls in a convoy and blocks in this fella who's only doing his job.
Well, it's all just so worthless. Like, every time there's like an inkling of danger, it's immediately solved. And no matter how absurd, like how whatever it takes just to have it happen. Like, yes, it enforces like the whole rules of the road thing, but that's just super fucking weird the more you think about it, and the movie just keeps pressing it.
Yeah.
We do finally make our way back to Jenny Lewis's house, which ends up being just like a trailer in the middle of the Reno desert. Again, with no parents around. Does she live here on her own?
Yes, she is fully grown. She has matured. She is an alien at the age of 13. She is fully developed. She has 12 months to reproduce, much like the movie Species.
Oh,
that
yeah.
way she could propagate her people.
Well, Fred Savage, go get her.
Hey, be sure to put on your power glove.
No power glove, no power love.
Damn, dude. And that's the power of love.
Roll credits.
I fucking wish. No, they get to California. They make it on time, and they have like a really weird entrance to the fucking thing. They get to the table where they get tickets or whatever. It's like, yeah, we went in. It's like, are you fucking sure, maggots? You gotta be good at every game. Galaga, Mario, Mario 2, Mario 3. Nothing. Get in there.
Look
Yeah.
at this guy. Giving
I don't know,
away
he-
the secrets. Mario 3 isn't supposed to be out for how long?
I don't know. When was that? I didn't actually look it up. I assume it hasn't been released yet.
It's such a good teaser, though, to be like, oh, go buy the fucking game. It's coming out.
I think it's brilliant. The whole thing is it's so cheese. But once again, I just know that if I were a kid, then I'd be losing my mind. It's so brilliant.
Yes.
Like, they even have like the main kid, the kid you want to be. He has sunglasses, and they sneak into the joint because they kind of get dicked on their entrance. They present him with the game, like with his he's leaning back on the podium, the doors open up, all this smoke and fanfare. He's the coolest kid in the room. Everybody wants to be
Yes.
him.
After the preliminary, and in the preliminary, Jimmy's going to take it down. They're going to the finals. So it's just Jimmy, it's Lucas from earlier, and it's some bitch who don't matter at all. And it's some bitch who doesn't matter at all. And that's the finalist. She doesn't have a chance.
Dude, 100%. And after prelims, whenever USA #1 kid, he's like, what? I got the best scores. And then little Jimmy's like right under him. He's nervous. So what's he going to do? This motherfucker rats him out to the police.
He really does.
Snitches get stitches is all I'm saying. And that kid just deserves some stitches.
Like, how scared you got to be in a fucking competition to be like, I'm going to turn him over to the cops so he can't beat me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much the cops as it is old Dog the Bounty Hunter, who is probably a bigger threat than the police at this point because he touched Jenny Lewis's breast.
Oh, for fuck's sake. At this point, just fucking almost wish the movie was like, oops, the federales came to get this guy, and it just ends.
Federales.
They're from
This is
Mexico.
This is taking place in Universal Studios, Hollywood, California, by the way, so this is a good advertisement for them, too. They get to go
Yeah.
through, some rides, not on the rides, really, except for the tram, and they're not even supposed to be on it. They go through the one ride where there's, the King Kong. It's not there anymore. It doesn't matter.
And at the end of the day, you know what's great for family? Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Dude, the way it wraps up makes no fucking sense. They drive into the distance like fucking Sarah Connor and Terminator. But, they immediately shrug off this entire situation. It's been
Same.
next to deadly. Awful things have happened. And there's an insane competition that happened. And they're all just like, well, Utah.
It was so crazy because, you get to see the villain, old Slugsworth, Mr. Titty Toucher. By the end of the film, he's rooting for Jimmy to win the fucking game. I went, shut the fuck up. Look at this guy. Complete face turn.
Yeah, when the competition is going on, it's 10 minutes, let's lay this down. You've got 10 minutes to score as many points in Super Mario Bros. 3 as possible. I'm laying that out because there's more I want to talk about there. But it ends up being like the ending of School of Rock when suddenly all the parents are there, bad guys, good guys, everybody that's pissed off is suddenly just cheering the kids on. It's exactly the same.
Well, you see, at a certain level, they just rock that hard.
Is it level 4? Do you have to use the whistle to get there?
He got the star.
He
Um,
got the
okay.
fucking star. Yes.
Okay, I want to talk about this. You guys, Brady, I know for sure you have. Eric, you've played Super Mario Bros. 3?
Absolutely. It's also
Okay.
available right now on the emulator on the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo.
Nintendo do what your parents don't, and that's keep you occupied.
I thought you were going to say something like Nintendo does what your parents don't. Stay married.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God.
Sorry,
All
the
right.
princess is in another castle. It's another man's castle. She went to live with him. His name's Steve. I do want to talk before we move on about this Super Mario Brothers 3 points competition. It annoys me so much, so much that this is what the whole this is the denouement. This is what they are focused on, getting points in this game, and nothing that they are pointing him to do is to get points. They're like, get the whistle, go to the warp world. You don't score more points for being in World 4. Second thing,
No.
when he dies, he dies. And it's like, oh, he's going to have to start off World 2 again. No, like, it shows on the screen he's still in World 1. They say it multiple times. We can see that!
Okay, Chandler. I can see that you're assuming the filmmakers had ample knowledge of the subject matter that they were making this movie about. You would be absolutely wrong. This was a gig. That's the only way that I can explain this. They just like, I gotta make a Mario movie tomorrow. Let's get it done. Fred Savage, we got him. Throw it together. I don't know. We don't have a whole movie. We'll just throw some slices of like Hallmark movie in there. That'll just, Christian Slater, you got it. We're done. Chip shape.
Sort of generic video game stuff. Get the star. Hit the box. Do points. Warp World.
Didn't matter. Like,
No.
it was just if you got 3 of the same fucking thing.
Yeah, and then that's just extra life. We saw it before when he got the 3 mushrooms.
Yeah.
God, it's so goddamn foolish and inept. You know, quick, grab the Triforce. It's a Mario. Like, cut the credits.
He's got the snitch.
The magical snitch.
Man, this movie is incredibly, incredibly special. It's so not movie. It's so weird. It's so lazy in the parts where it has to be a movie. Like, when it gets to the branding shit, it is absolutely full force. It cannot stop gushing whatever the subject matter is, whether it be Reno, Nintendo, etc. But everything else is so fucking nothing. It is wild. The only thing magical about this movie is the fucking Power Glove. Gimme one.
Yeah, this is kind of like a 30-minute commercial inside of an hour and 40-minute movie, and I'd much rather be watching the 30-minute commercial.
Fucking couldn't agree more. That's my exact feeling, because the movie section is completely soulless. It almost feels like they didn't have a soundtrack for a movie that wasn't commercial. So every time that the movie was playing, it was just so dead. It just felt so dead. And then it would be commercial, and you're like, all right, I'm kind of into this. And then real life shit would happen, and it would just bring you down. I don't know. It was a weird fucking movie.
They do have that New Kids on the Block song that appears like 3 different times.
I mean, they paid for it.
Gotta wring out every last drop of New Kid on the Block.
Well, there you have it. That was The Wizard from 1989. If you have any strong feelings about the show or the movie, leave in the comment section below.
Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Be sure to bash that little bell icon down there so you get all your points and you don't miss what we got brewing up next.
Get out there, follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook. We got it. Check us out. And you should find us anywhere. La 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 la. That podcasts are available, y'all. We're kind of funny sometimes. If you don't at least give us a listen, we're going to get that titty-touching bounty hunter guy, and we're going to send him after y'all.
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.